The 3 moons of Veltris hung low in the purple sky as the human ship New Horizon broke through the clouds. The ship was not very big, but its silver hull gleamed in the alien sunlight. On the ground below, the native people of the planet watched, with wide eyes. These people were called the Namuri. They had blue skin that could change colors to show their feelings. They stood on 2 legs like humans, but they were shorter and had 4 arms instead of 2. Their large eyes could see in the dark, which helped them survive on their dangerous world. For thousands of years, the Namuri had lived in fear. Their planet had a terrible beast called the Kral. These monsters were huge, with thick armor on, their backs and sharp teeth that could cut through metal. They walked on 6 powerful legs and had glowing spines that lit up when they hunted. The Kral looked a bit like Earth crocodiles mixed with bears, but much bigger and meaner. Because of the Kral, the Namuri built their homes high up on cliff sides where the beasts couldn't reach. They rarely touched the ground. Even though they had made spaceships and computers, they still lost many people each year to the hungry Kral. The New Horizon landed in a wide clearing, far from any Kral territories according to the Namuri's maps. A ramp lowered from the ship and 5 humans walked out into the alien air. Captain Taeho Kim led the group. He was tall and stood straight, with short black hair and a serious face. He wore the blue uniform of the Earth Space Fleet with pride. "Remember," he said to his team, "we are guests here. The Namuri are peaceful but very nervous by nature. Try not to make sudden moves." Beside him walked Dr. Jisoo Park, who studied alien life. She carried many tools to learn about this new world. Her eyes lit up as she looked at the strange plants and the 3 moons in the sky. "The air readings are good," she said, checking her device. "We can breathe normally, but the gravity is a bit lighter than Earth." Officer Dae-Sung Lee nodded. His job was to learn about the Namuri culture and help the humans and aliens understand each other. "Their message said they would meet us here. They're probably watching us right now." He was right. Minutes later, a flying platform came down from the cliffs. 10 Namuri stood on it, their skin shifting between blue and green colors. They wore simple clothes made from plant fibers, decorated with shiny stones. The platform landed, and the oldest Namuri stepped forward. Her skin had a deeper blue color than the others, and she wore a necklace made from small crystals. "I am Elder Zuri," she said through a translation device. "Welcome to Veltris, people from Earth. We have watched your approach and are glad you come in peace." Captain Taeho bowed slightly. "Thank you for your welcome, Elder Zuri. We are honored to meet your people and learn about your world." The Namuri took the humans to their city built into the side of a massive cliff. The homes were carved into the rock with bridges connecting different levels. Beautiful gardens grew on wide ledges. Flying machines moved between the levels, carrying Namuri from place to place. "Why do you build so high?" asked Dr. Jisoo, though she had already guessed the answer. Elder Zuri's skin flashed a dark pattern. "The Kral cannot climb the steep cliffs. Up here we are safe." "The Kral?" asked Captain Taeho. One of the younger Namuri named Miko stepped forward. "The monsters that rule our ground. They are why we fly everywhere or use protected paths. When we need to go to other cities, we must travel very carefully." "But you have advanced technology," said Officer Dae-Sung. "You've even contacted other star systems." Elder Zuri nodded sadly. "We have learned to build many things, but our weapons cannot pierce the Kral's armor. Each cycle, we lose hundreds of our people to them." The humans were shocked. On Earth, humans had been the top predators for thousands of years. The idea that these smart aliens lived in fear of animals seemed strange to them. That evening, the Namuri held a welcome feast on a wide platform under the open sky. The food was all plants and fruits, as the Namuri did not eat meat. Musicians played strange instruments that made beautiful sounds. Captain Taeho and Elder Zuri talked about how their worlds might work together. The Namuri had rare minerals that Earth needed, and the humans had technology that could help the Namuri. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the city. The Namuri's skin turned pale with fear. "Impossible!" cried Elder Zuri. "A Kral has been spotted climbing the south cliff." The platform burst into action. Namuri ran in all directions, their skin flashing warning colors. Guards with energy weapons formed a line, but their hands shook with fear. "How can it climb?" asked Miko in panic. "Kralls have never climbed before." A huge shape pulled itself over the edge of the platform. The humans saw the Krall for the first time, and they understood the Namuri's fear. The beast was the size of a small bus with thick armor plates covering its back. 6 powerful legs with sharp claws dug into the stone floor. Its head had rows of teeth as long as human fingers, and the spines along its back glowed bright red in the darkness. The Namuri guards fired their energy weapons, but the beams just made the armor plates glow hot without stopping the Krall. It roared and charged toward the crowd. Captain Tejo didn't hesitate. He pulled out his sidearm, a powerful pistol that fired metal bullets, not energy beams. He aimed carefully as the monster ran. "The weak spots are under the jaw and behind the front legs," shouted Dr. Jisoo, who had quickly studied the beast's movement. Tejo fired 3 quick shots. The bullets hit exactly where Jisoo had pointed. The Krall stumbled, then crashed to the ground just meters from the terrified Namuri. It twitched once, then lay still. Silence fell across the platform. Every Namuri stared at the dead Krall, then at the human captain. Their skin showed patches of colors that the translation program couldn't understand. "You killed it," Elder Zuri finally said. Her voice shook. "You killed a Krall." "I'm sorry if I broke some rule," Tejo said, lowering his weapon. It was about to attack. "No, you don't understand," Miko explained, moving closer to the dead monster even as other Namuri backed away. "No one has ever killed a Krall before. Our weapons don't work on them." Dr. Jisoo moved to the fallen beast and scanned it with her tools. "The armor is strong, but it has gaps, and it seems vulnerable to physical projectiles rather than energy weapons." The Namuri leaders gathered around Captain Tejo. Their skin now showed blue patterns with flashes of gold, a sign of deep respect. "In one moment, you have done what our people have failed to do for thousands of years," Elder Zuri said. Her hands trembled as she looked at the gun. "This changes everything," Officer Dae-sung whispered to the captain. "I think we just dramatically changed their view of humans." Captain Tejo nodded. He looked at the dead monster, and then at the amazed faces of the Namuri. This first contact had taken an unexpected turn. The humans hadn't come to fight monsters, but it seemed they might have found new allies who needed their help more than anyone had realized. As night fell fully on Veltris, news spread through the Cliff City. The aliens from Earth had killed a Krall with small handheld weapons. The humans watched as the Namuri's fear turned to hope and curiosity. This was just the beginning of how humans would change life on Veltris forever. 3 days after Captain Tejo killed the Krall, the Namuri still talked about it everywhere. The news spread to all their cliff cities across the planet. Many Namuri came to see the dead beast, which had been moved to a special platform for study. Dr. Jisoo Park spent most of her time examining the Krall. She wore a white lab coat and carefully cut open parts of the monster to learn how it worked. Several Namuri scientists watched her, their skin shifting between colors of interest and fear. "The armor isn't as strong as you think," Jisoo explained to them. "It's thick, yes, but it has weak spots." She pointed to areas under the jaw and between the armor plates. "Your energy weapons spread heat across the whole armor, but our bullets hit one small spot with great force." Ila, a female Namuri scientist, moved closer to watch. Her 4 hands held different tools as she helped Jisoo. "We never thought to use physical weapons," she said. "We stopped using those thousands of years ago." Jisoo nodded. "Sometimes old ways work better for certain problems. That's why humans still use many different types of weapons." On the other side of the Namuri city, Officer Dae-sung Lee sat with a group of curious aliens. His job was to teach them about Earth and human culture. He showed pictures on a large screen while the Namuri watched with wide eyes. "This is Earth," he said, showing images of blue oceans, green forests, and tall mountains. "Our home planet." "It's beautiful," said Miko, the young Namuri who had been helping the humans learn about Veltris. "But do you have dangerous animals there too?" Dae-sung smiled. "Yes, we do. Look at these." He showed pictures of lions, tigers, sharks, and bears. These are some of Earth's predators. The Namuri's skin flickered with surprise patterns. They look dangerous, one said. They can be, Daesung agreed. But humans have learned to deal with them. He showed a new image of a human hunter standing next to a lion he had shot. Some humans hunt these animals. The room went quiet. The Namuri stared at the picture, their skin turning pale blue with shock. You hunt them? Asked Miko. On purpose? Some humans do, Daesung explained. Both for sport and for food. Food? Several Namuri said at once. Their skin flashed with bright patterns that showed extreme surprise. Daesung realized he had said something shocking. The Namuri only ate plants. The idea of eating meat, especially from a predator, was completely new to them. Yes, he said carefully. Humans eat many kinds of animals, including predators sometimes. An older Namuri named Tavi shook his head. You are saying humans kill beasts like our kraal, and then eat them? If they taste good, yes, Daesung answered honestly. On Earth, some predator meat is considered very special. The Namuri fell silent again. They looked at each other, their skin showing confused patterns. Finally, Miko spoke what they all were thinking. Would humans eat a kraal? Daesung didn't know what to say. He didn't want to upset their new friends, but he also needed to be honest. I think some would try it, yes. Humans are curious about new foods. The news spread quickly through the city. By that evening, Elder Zuri asked to meet with Captain Teho and his team. The meeting room was high in the cliff, with large windows showing the 3 moons of Veltris. Our people are very interested in your ways, Elder Zuri said. Her skin showed calm blue colors but with tiny flashes of yellow, a sign of nervous thinking. Some are afraid, but most are curious. We have never known beings who hunt and eat predators. Captain Teho nodded. I understand this is strange to you. Humans evolved as hunters. We started as prey, but over time we became predators ourselves. You were prey once? Asked Ella, who had joined the meeting. Like us? Long ago, yes, explained Jisoo. Early humans were hunted by larger animals, but we learned to make tools and weapons. We learned to work together. Eventually, we became the most dangerous predator on Earth. The Namuri listened closely. This idea was new to them. Their people had always hidden from the kraal, never thinking they could fight back and win. We have a request, said Elder Zuri, after a long pause. Would you teach some of our people how to hunt the kraal? Teho looked surprised. Are you sure? This would be a big change for your culture. Yes, Elder Zuri said firmly. For too long, we have lived in fear. The kraal kill hundreds of our people each year. If we can learn to fight them, we can be free. The next day, Captain Teho called his ship. More humans came down to the planet, including security officer Han Jun Choi. Han Jun was a tall man, with strong arms and a serious face. On Earth, he had been a famous hunter before joining the space fleet. So these kraal are the problem? Han Jun asked, looking at the dead monster. Big, but not impossible. Can you teach the Namuri to hunt them? Asked Teho. Han Jun walked around the dead kraal, studying it carefully. Yes, but they'll need the right weapons and courage. Lots of courage. A group of young Namuri volunteered to learn hunting. They met with Han Jun in a special room where he taught them about guns, tracking, and hunting tactics. The Namuri were nervous but eager to learn. Meanwhile, Dr. Jisoo made another discovery. In the kraal's stomach, she found strange blue crystals. She showed them to Ela. What are these? Jisoo asked. Ela's skin turned dark with sadness. Those are memory stones. Our people wear them to record our lives. That kraal must have eaten one of us recently. Jisoo felt sad for the Namuri. These gentle aliens had suffered so much from the kraal. No wonder they wanted to learn how to fight back. That evening, Captain Teho and his team had dinner together in their ship. They ate earth food they had brought with them. The Namuri asked, "Me something strange today," said Daesung. They wanted to know if we would eat a kraal. Eat one? Asked Han Jun, looking interested. Well, why not? Might taste good. Because it would shock them, said Jisoo. They're plant eaters. The idea of eating any meat is strange to them. Eating a predator like the Kral would seem, I don't know, almost magical to them. Captain Taeho thought for a moment. Or it might show them that the Kral aren't all-powerful. That even the greatest predator can become prey. The group fell silent thinking about this idea. So, are we going to do it? Asked Hanjun. Hunt a Kral for food? Maybe, said Taeho. But first, let's teach them how to defend themselves. Then we can talk about hunting for food. Later that night, Miko visited the human ship. He brought gifts of sweet Veltris fruits and wanted to learn more about Earth. Daesung showed him videos of Earth cities, oceans, and animals. Your world has so many different predators, Miko said, watching a video of wolves hunting. How do you live with so many dangerous animals? We learned to be more dangerous than they are, Daesung said simply. Miko's skin showed a pattern of deep thought. Do you think we could learn to be dangerous too? Could Namuri become hunters like humans? Daesung smiled at the young alien. With practice and the right tools, yes, anyone can learn to fight back. The first step is to stop being afraid. As Miko left the ship, he looked up at the night sky. For the first time in his life, he wasn't afraid of what might be hiding in the darkness. The humans had brought something new to Veltris, not just weapons, but hope. Hope that the Namuri could change their place in the world, and none of them knew that the biggest shock was still to come. 1 week after the humans arrived on Veltris, Hanjun Choi was ready to lead a hunt for a live Kral. He had spent days teaching a small group of Namuri how to use special guns that could pierce Kral armor. Today, we will show you that the Kral can be beaten, Hanjun told the gathered Namuri. Captain Taeho and I will hunt one, and 3 of your bravest can come with us to watch and learn. Many Namuri wanted to join the hunt, but most were still too afraid. In the end, 3 stepped forward. Miko, the young male who had been helping the humans, Lena, a strong female guard, and Tavi, an older male who had lost his child to a Kral. I will face my fear, Tavi said, his skin showing brave red patterns mixed with nervous blue. For my lost child. Captain Taeho looked at the 3 volunteers with respect. This will be dangerous, he warned. You must follow our instructions exactly. Early the next morning, they left the Cliff City. The hunting party rode in a flying vehicle down to the jungle floor. The Namuri rarely went to the ground, so the plants were thick and wild. Hanjun carried a large rifle, while Taeho had his pistol and a long knife on his belt. The Namuri each held smaller guns that Hanjun had taught them to use. First, we must find fresh tracks, Hanjun explained as they walked through the jungle. He pointed to broken plants and marks on the ground. These tell us where a Kral has been and how long ago. The Namuri watched closely. They had never thought to track the monsters before. There, Hanjun said after an hour of walking. He pointed to a deep footprint in the mud. A large one passed here this morning. Miko's skin turned pale with fear, but he stayed brave. How do we follow it? We follow the trail, Hanjun said. And we stay quiet. The Kral has good hearing. They walked slowly through the jungle following the tracks. Hanjun showed them how to move without making noise. The Namuri tried their best, but they were not used to walking on the ground. After 2 hours, Hanjun held up his hand for them to stop. We're close, he whispered. I can smell it. The humans could smell a strong, musky scent in the air. The Namuri smelled it too, and their skin showed patterns of fear. They knew that smell. It was the smell of a Kral. Stay here, Hanjun told the Namuri. Captain Taeho and I will go ahead to find it. When we call you, come quickly but quietly. The Namuri nodded, holding their guns tightly. They watched as the 2 humans moved silently into the thick plants. Hanjun and Taeho crept forward, their weapons ready. They communicated with hand signals, splitting up to circle around their prey. Through the leaves, they could see the Kral. It was even bigger than the one that had attacked the city. Its 6 legs were thick with muscle, and its armored back was covered in scars from fights with other Kral. The beast was eating something it had killed, a large plant eater that looked like a cross between a deer and an elephant. Han Jun signaled to Taiho. They had the perfect chance to shoot the Kral while it was busy eating, but Han Jun had another plan. He wanted the Namuri to see the whole hunt. Taiho nodded and went back to get the Namuri. When he returned with them, their skin was showing scared patterns, but they followed bravely. "There it is," Taiho whispered, pointing through the leaves. "Han Jun is on the other side. We will surround it, round." "It's huge," whispered Lena, her voice shaking. "Yes, but it can still die," said Taiho. "Remember your training. Aim for the weak spots." The Namuri nodded, but they were trembling. Seeing a Kral in its own territory was different from seeing a dead one in the city. Han Jun gave a low whistle, the signal to move forward. The hunting party spread out, surrounding the feeding Kral. The beast was so busy eating that it didn't notice them at first. Then Tavi stepped on a branch. It broke with a loud snap. The Kral's head shot up. Its yellow eyes scanned the jungle, and its glowing spines turned bright red. The hunting color. It had spotted them. "Now!" shouted Han Jun. "Shoot!" The humans fired their weapons. Han Jun's shots hit the Kral behind its front leg where the armor was thinner. Taiho's bullets struck under its jaw. The beast roared in pain and anger. The Namuri tried to shoot too, but they were shaking too much. Miko's shot went wide. Lena hit the Kral's thick armor where the bullet couldn't penetrate. Tavi didn't shoot at all. He was frozen with fear. The wounded Kral charged at Han Jun. It moved with surprising speed for such a large animal. Han Jun waited until the last second, then jumped to the side. As the beast passed, he fired 3 more shots into its side. The Kral stumbled, but didn't fall. It turned to attack again, but now Taiho was shooting it from the other side. The monster was confused, turning back and forth between the 2 humans. "Miko! Lena! Remember your training!" shouted Taiho. "Aim for the weak spots." Miko took a deep breath. He raised his gun again and aimed carefully. This time his shot hit the Kral in the soft spot behind its leg. The beast roared and turned toward him. "Run!" shouted Han Jun. Miko turned to run, but he tripped on a root and fell. The Kral charged toward him, jaws open wide. Tavi, who had been frozen with fear, suddenly moved. He stepped in front of Miko and raised his gun. With a steady hand, he fired directly into the Kral's open mouth. The bullet went deep into the beast's throat. The Kral made a strange choking sound and crashed to the ground, sliding to a stop just feet away from the 2 Namuri. For a moment, everyone was still. Then Han Jun ran forward and checked the Kral. "It's dead," he announced. "Clean kill, Tavi." Tavi stood there, his skin showing a mix of fear, shock, and pride. I killed a Kral," he said in disbelief. "You saved my life," said Miko, standing up. His skin showed patterns of deep respect. The humans smiled at the Namuri. This was what they had hoped for, to show the aliens that they could fight back against their ancient enemy. "Now comes the next part," said Han Jun. He pulled out a large hunting knife. "Field dressing." "What is field dressing?" asked Lena. "We prepare the animal to take back with us," Han Jun explained. "We take the meat and useful parts." The Namuri looked confused. "Take the meat?" asked Tavi. "What for?" "For eating," said Han Jun simply. "And the hide can be used for leather. The teeth and claws make good tools or decorations." The Namuri's skin turned pale with shock. "You are really going to eat it?" asked Miko. "Of course," said Han Jun. "That's part of hunting. We respect the animal by using everything it gives us." The humans began cutting the Kral. They worked quickly and skillfully. Han Jun showed the Namuri how to remove the best cuts of meat and how to take the hide without damaging it. The Namuri watched in a mix of horror and fascination. They had never thought of the Kral as anything but a terrible enemy. Now the humans were treating it like food. "The meat looks good," said Taiho, examining a large piece. "Firm and dark. Probably tastes like alligator or crocodile from Earth. With the right spices, it will make an excellent meal," Han Jun agreed. "We should invite the Namuri leaders to try it." The Namuri looked at each other with wide eyes. The idea of eating their most feared enemy was too strange to understand. The humans continued their work. Tavi touched the Kral's head. His skin showed a complex pattern of emotions. "I have feared these monsters all my life," he said quietly. "My child died in a Kral's jaws, and now I have killed one, and you will eat it." He shook his head in wonder. Humans are more amazing than we thought. By midday, they had loaded the best parts of the Kral onto their vehicle. The humans were pleased with the hunt. The Namuri were changed forever. They had seen that the Kral could be killed, and they had seen something even more shocking, that the greatest predator on their world was just food to the humans from Earth. As they flew back to the Cliff City, the Namuri wondered what would happen next. They didn't know that the biggest surprise was still to come, when the humans would cook and eat the Kral at a special dinner. News of the successful hunt spread quickly through the Namuri city. Everyone talked about how Tavi had killed a Kral. He became an instant hero, the first Namuri in history to kill one of the feared beasts. His skin glowed with proud colors whenever he told the story. But the Namuri were even more interested in what the humans planned to do next. Eat the Kral? It seemed impossible, almost like magic. How could anyone eat the monster that had terrorized their world for thousands of years? In the human ship, Mi Song prepared for the special dinner. She was the ship's cook, a short woman with quick hands and a serious face. She had cooked many strange foods on many planets, but this was her first time preparing Kral meat. "It looks like tough meat," she said, examining the dark red chunks. "Like crocodile or shark from Earth. I'll need to cook it slowly to make it tender." Captain Tejo nodded. "We've invited Elder Zuri and the other leaders to a special dinner tonight. Make it as delicious as you can." "I always do," Mi said with a smile. She began mixing spices from Earth with local herbs from Veltris. The smell was strong and good. Dr. Jisoo Park watched with interest. "The Namuri might not understand what we're doing," she warned. "Eating predators is normal for us, but for them, it's shocking. That's why this dinner is important," Tejo explained. "It will show them that the Kral is just an animal, not some all-powerful monster. If we can eat it, maybe they will stop being so afraid." That evening, the humans set up tables on a large platform near their ship. They used white cloths and proper Earth dishes. Mi worked all day preparing different Kral dishes: grilled steaks with herbs, slow-cooked stew, and thin slices marinated in sweet sauce. Officer Dae-sung helped set the tables. "The Namuri are vegetarians," he reminded everyone. "They won't eat the meat. We should have plenty of their food too." "Already done," said Mi, pointing to bowls of colorful local fruits and vegetables. "But I hope they at least try a small bite. It turned out quite good." As the 3 moons rose in the purple sky, the Namuri leaders arrived. Elder Zuri led the group, wearing special clothes for the important dinner. Tavi came too, still glowing, with pride from the hunt. In total, 10 Namuri joined 7 humans at the tables. "Welcome to our Earth-style dinner," said Captain Tejo, standing to greet them. "Tonight we share food and friendship between our worlds." The Namuri sat carefully at the tables. They had never used chairs and tables like humans did. Their forearms made them look awkward holding the unfamiliar forks and knives. Elder Zuri sniffed the air. "There is a strange smell," she said. Her skin showed curious color patterns. "That is the Kral meat cooking," explained Dae-sung. "On Earth, we cook meat with fire and spices to make it taste better." The Namuri looked at each other with nervous expressions. They still couldn't believe. The humans were really going to eat a Kral. Mi brought out the first dishes. For the Namuri, she served beautiful plates of local fruits and vegetables. For the humans, she served the Kral dishes. "This is Kral steak," she explained, placing a large plate in the center of the table. The meat was dark red with grill marks, surrounded by green herbs. "And this is slow-cooked Kral stew. The thin slices are marinated Kral." The Namuri stared at the meat dishes. Their skin showed patterns of shock and fascination. "It smells interesting," said one Namuri leader, leaning closer to look. The humans began serving themselves pieces of the Kral meat. They acted as if it was normal food, not the most feared predator on Veltris. Captain Tejo cut a piece of steak and took the first bite. The Namuri watched in complete silence. Even the human crew waited to see his reaction. "It's good," Tejo said after chewing, thoughtfully. "A bit tough but very flavorful. It tastes like a mix of alligator and venison from Earth." The other humans began eating too. Hanjun took a large bite and nodded with approval. "Excellent work, Mi-young. The slow cooking makes it tender. The marinade works well with the strong flavor," added Dr. Jisoo, trying the thin slices. The Namuri couldn't believe what they were seeing. The humans were eating a crawl and enjoying it. 2 Namuri leaders had to leave the table. They couldn't watch anymore. Their skin showed patterns of extreme discomfort. Elder Zuri stayed, watching with wide eyes. "You truly find this pleasant?" she asked. "Yes," said Tejo simply. "It's good meat. Would you like to try a small piece?" The room went completely silent. Even the humans stopped eating to see what would happen. No Namuri had ever eaten meat of any kind, let alone crawl meat. Elder Zuri's skin flickered with conflicting colors. Finally, she shook her head. "I cannot. Our bodies do not digest meat, but I am amazed that you can eat our greatest enemy so casually." The dinner continued, with humans eating the crawl and Namuri eating their plant foods. The 2 groups talked about their worlds, their customs, and their hopes for working together. But the Namuri couldn't stop staring at the humans eating the crawl meat. "In our history there are stories of great heroes who fought crawl," said Tavi. "But none ever killed one, and no story ever imagined eating one." His skin showed a pattern of wonder mixed with a little disgust. "On Earth, many cultures honor the animals they hunt by using all parts," explained Dae-sung. "Eating the meat shows respect for the animal sacrifice." "Respect?" asked a Namuri leader in surprise. "You respect the crawl?" "We respect all life," said Dr. Jisoo. "Even predators have their place in nature. On Earth, predators keep other animal populations healthy by hunting the weak and sick." This was a new idea for the Namuri. They had only thought of crawl as monsters, not as important parts of their world. As the dinner ended, Mi-young brought out a special dish. "This is a crawl roast with earth spices," she announced. "The center cut, which is the best part." The humans served themselves pieces of the roast. The meat was dark and juicy. They ate with obvious enjoyment. "With the right cooking, this could become popular on Earth," said Hanjun. "People pay good money for exotic meats." Elder Zuri looked shocked again. "You would sell crawl meat to other humans?" "Possibly," said Captain Tejo. "If we establish trade with Veltris, crawl meat could be valuable. So could the hides and teeth." The Namuri talked among themselves rapidly. This idea changed everything. For thousands of years, the crawl had been their greatest enemy. Now in one evening, the humans had turned it into food and possible trade goods. As the moons climbed higher in the night sky, the Namuri leaders prepared to leave. Elder Zuri stood before Captain Tejo. Her skin showed formal patterns of blue and gold. "This evening has changed how we see the world," she said solemnly. "For all our history, we have feared the crawl. We built our cities in the cliffs to hide from them. They shaped our entire civilization." She looked at the empty plates that had held crawl meat. "And you have shown us they are just food." The humans nodded, understanding the huge change this meant for Namuri culture. "Tomorrow," continued Elder Zuri, "we would like to begin real hunting lessons for our people. Not just a few brave ones, but many Namuri. It is time we stopped living in fear." Captain Tejo smiled. "We would be honored to teach you." As the Namuri left, the human crew cleaned up the dinner. They talked quietly about the strange evening and how shocked the aliens had been. "Do you think they'll ever eat crawl themselves?" asked Mi-young as she packed away the leftover meat. "Probably not," said Dr. Jisoo. "Their bodies aren't made for eating meat, but they might start seeing crawl differently now, as animals that can be controlled, not all powerful monsters." Captain Tejo looked out at the Namuri city built into the cliffs. "We've changed their world forever," he said. "I just hope it's for the better." What none of them knew was how completely their simple dinner would transform Namori society in the months to come. 6 months passed since the humans first landed on Veltris. In that short time, everything changed for the Namori people. The largest platform in the city now held a training center where humans taught Namori how to hunt. Every day, groups practiced, with special guns designed for their forearms. They learned to track, to move quietly, and to spot the weak points in Kral armor. Hanjun Choi led most of these classes. He stood tall and proud as he watched his students improve. "Remember," he often said, "the Kral is just an animal. A dangerous one, yes, but not a monster. Animals can be understood. Animals can be hunted." The Namori listened and learned. At first, only the bravest joined the classes. But as more Namori successfully hunted Kral and returned safely, others found courage too. Tavi became the first Namori hunting teacher. He wore a necklace made from the teeth of the Kral he had killed. His skin now often showed brave, confident patterns. "6 months ago, I could not imagine standing on the ground without fear," he told a group of students. "Now I have killed 4 Kral. If I can do this, anyone can." The jungle floor around the cliff cities was now safer than ever before. Regular hunting parties kept the Kral away from Namori settlements. For the first time in their history, the Ichi Namori began building small homes on the ground. Children played in fields that had once been too dangerous to visit. On this special day, Captain Taeho Kim and his crew prepared for an important ceremony. 1 year had passed since their ship first landed on Veltris. The Namori were holding a celebration to thank the humans for all they had taught them. Dr. Jisoo Park and Officer Dae-sung Lee walked together through the new ground-level market that the Namori had built. Colorful tents held fruits, crafts, and now something new: products made from Kral. "Look at all this," said Jisoo, pointing to tables covered with items made from Kral parts. There were tools made from Kral teeth, strong bags made from Kral hide, and bright decorations made from the colorful spines. "They've completely changed how they see the Kral," said Dae-sung, "from monsters to resources." A young Namori seller waved to them. It was Miko, who had been on the first hunt. "Good day, humans," he called. His skin showed happy patterns. "Do you like my new items?" Miko's table was covered with beautiful things made from Kral parts. He held up a shining knife with a handle, made from Kral teeth. "This is my best work," he said proudly. "The tooth is harder than metal but lighter." "Very impressive," said Jisoo, examining the knife. "You've become skilled at working with these materials." "Thanks to you humans," said Miko. His skin showed patterns of deep respect. "You changed everything for us." As they walked back to the ship, Dae-sung looked thoughtful. "I wonder if we changed too much, too quickly," he said. "Their entire culture is different now." "They chose this change," Jisoo reminded him. "We showed them it was possible to fight back against the Kral, but they decided to do it." At midday, the celebration began. Thousands of Namori gathered in the Cliff City and in the new ground settlements. Elder Zuri led Captain Taeho and his crew to a special platform decorated with flowers and Kral spines. "One cycle ago, we lived in constant fear," Elder Zuri said to the crowd. Her voice was carried by speakers throughout the city. "The Kral ruled our world, and we hid in the cliffs. But then the humans came." The crowd cheered. Their skin showed bright patterns of joy and gratitude. "The humans showed us that the Kral could be defeated. They taught us to hunt. They even—" Elder Zuri paused, her skin showing amused patterns. "They even ate our greatest enemy for dinner." The crowd laughed. What had once been shocking was now a famous story that all Namori knew. "Today, we honor our human friends," continued Elder Zuri, "and we celebrate our new freedom." She presented Captain Taeho with a beautiful gift, a ceremonial knife made from the largest Kral tooth ever found. The handle was covered with shining stones and wrapped with soft Kral hide. "This represents the new path you have shown us," she said, "from fear to strength." Captain Taeho accepted the gift with a bow. "We are honored to have helped your people," he said. But the courage was always yours. We just showed you how to use it. After the ceremony came a huge feast. Tables were set up on the ground, the first time the Namuri had ever eaten outside their cliff homes. They served their traditional plant foods, while the humans cooked Kral meat on open fires. In the past 6 months, Kral meat had become popular with other human ships that visited Veltris. Traders now came regularly to buy the meat, hide, and teeth. What had once been the Namuri's greatest enemy was now a valuable trade good. Some human colonists had even settled on Veltris, building a small community near the main Namuri city. They helped hunt Kral and taught the Namuri about earth farming methods. As the celebration continued, Dr. Jisoo found Elder Zuri watching some Namuri children playing on the ground. "They have never known fear of the ground," said Elder Zuri, her skin showing thoughtful patterns. "They will grow up different from all Namuri before them." "Is that good?" asked Jisoo. "Yes," said Elder Zuri. "Fear limited us for too long. Now we can grow in new ways." She looked at Jisoo with curious patterns. "But there is something I still don't understand about humans." "What's that?" "How can you eat Kral so casually?" asked Elder Zuri. "To us, they were the most terrifying thing in our world. Yet you treat them like lunch." Jisoo smiled. "Humans evolved as both prey and predator," she explained. "Long ago, we were hunted by larger animals, but we learned to hunt them back. We became the animal that hunts other hunters." Elder Zuri's skin showed understanding patterns. "So you respect the Kral as a worthy prey, not fear it as a monster?" "Exactly," said Jisoo. "That's why Hanjun always teaches respect for the animals we hunt. A good hunter respects their prey." As evening came, Captain Taeho joined his crew for a quiet moment, away from the celebration. They sat on the edge of the cliff looking out over the jungle below. "Hard to believe how much has changed in 1 year," said Hanjun. "The Namuri walking on the ground, hunting Kral, trading with other worlds. All because we showed them they could fight back," said Mi Young. "And because you ate a Kral steak." The crew laughed. "We changed their whole society," said Daesung, more seriously. "I hope it was for the better." "I think it was," said Taeho. "They were trapped by fear. Now they're free to choose their own path." Dr. Jisoo looked thoughtful. "You know what fascinates me most? We didn't conquer the Kral with better technology or special powers. We just showed the Namuri what humans have always done: face our fears and find ways to overcome them, and eat our enemies," added Hanjun with a smile. As night fell, the celebration moved to the Cliff City, where lights shone from every home. The 3 moons rose over Veltris, shining down on a world that had completely changed. In just 1 year, the Namuri had transformed from a fearful people hiding in the cliffs to brave hunters walking freely on their own planet. And it all began when the humans showed them that the most feared predator on their world was just another meal to share with friends. Several star systems away, a trader ship captain told stories about the strange planet Veltris. He described the blue-skinned aliens who lived in cliff cities and the humans who taught them to hunt the fearsome Kral beasts. But the best part, he told his fascinated audience, is when the humans decided to eat the monster for dinner. The Namuri couldn't believe it. They call humans the Devourers now, with respect, of course. His audience laughed and ordered another round of drinks. "The moral of the story," continued the captain, raising his glass, "is never underestimate humans. To the scariest predators in the galaxy, we say, you'd probably taste good with some sauce." The end.